The biker's world blurred into pain and confusion as a powerful hand wrapped around his throat, lifting him off the ground like he weighed nothing. His instincts kicked in, hands clawing at the iron grip, but it was useless. The man holding him wasn't just strong. He was focused, controlled, and as his eyes adjusted, he finally saw who had grabbed him. Elon Musk. Before the biker could process that insane reality, a fist rocketed into his jaw with the force of a freight train. Crack! His head snapped back, and he collapsed onto the pavement, a metallic taste flooding his mouth. The world spun, his vision blurred, and then a voice, low, steady, and terrifyingly calm. "Touch that dog again, and I'll break every bone in your body." The biker coughed, spitting blood onto the pavement. His lip was split wide open, and his cheek throbbed where Musk's knuckles had landed. For a second, he just lay there, stunned, staring up at the man standing over him. He squinted, trying to understand. This wasn't some jacked-up bodybuilder. This wasn't a cop. This was Elon freaking Musk, the richest guy on the planet, the tech genius, the space guy, and he had just decked him in the middle of the street. The biker gritted his teeth, pushing himself up onto his elbows. You crazy bastard." He wiped his bleeding mouth. "Who the hell do you think you are?" Musk didn't move, didn't flinch, just stood there, watching. "I should be asking you the same thing," he said. His voice wasn't raised, but there was a weight to it that made the biker's skin crawl. "You think hurting a defenseless animal makes you a man?" The biker sneered, trying to shake off the daze. "It's a damn dog, a filthy street mutt. What's it to you?" Musk took a slow step forward. The biker instinctively flinched, and that tiny reaction made something flicker behind Musk's eyes. Amusement. "You like picking on things that can't fight back, huh?" Musk's tone was almost conversational now. "Makes you feel powerful?" The biker clenched his fists, embarrassment burning in his gut. People were watching. The crowd had grown. Phones were out. He had been in control 5 minutes ago. Now, he was a joke. "You got no idea who you're messing with," he snarled, wiping his lip. "I don't care how much money you got. You can't just go around punching people in the damn face." Musk tilted his head slightly, studying him like a scientist observing a failed experiment. "Oh, but you can go around kicking helpless animals?" His expression darkened. "You didn't think anyone would stop you, did you?" The biker opened his mouth, but Musk took another step forward, closing the distance. "You act like a big man when you're towering over a homeless guy and his dog," Musk continued. His voice was steady, but there was something dangerous underneath it now. "But now that someone your own size steps in, you're the biker's face twisted in rage. "Screw you, man." Musk's hand shot out so fast the biker barely saw it. He grabbed the guy by the collar and yanked him up just enough so their faces were inches apart. "Listen carefully," Musk said, his voice dropping to a whisper that cut deeper than any scream. "You ever hurt another defenseless creature again, I will find you." The biker swallowed. He could feel Musk's grip tightening just slightly. "I'll make sure you regret it," Musk continued, his voice like steel. "I don't need money for that. I don't need power. I just need to remember your face." For the first time in a long time, the biker felt something he wasn't used to feeling. Fear. He tried to laugh it off, but it came out shaky. "Why, you're insane." Musk let go of his collar, shoving him back down to the pavement. The biker stumbled, catching himself on one knee. "No," Musk said simply. "I'm just not a coward like you." The words hit harder than the punch. The biker gritted his teeth, humiliated. He looked around, people whispering, recording, laughing at him. His jaw tightened. He had lost. He stood up, spitting onto the ground. "This ain't over," he muttered. "Rich boy like you? You're lucky I don't press charges." Musk smirked. "Go ahead." He gestured to the crowd. "I'm sure they'll love hearing how you got knocked out for kicking a dog." The biker's face turned red. Musk tilted his head toward the alley. "Get lost." The biker hesitated. He wanted to say something, do something, but he wasn't stupid. With a final glare, he turned and stormed away, vanishing into the shadows. The second he was gone, the street erupted. Did Elon Musk just knock a guy out? Someone shouted. Holy crap, that was insane. Phones were everywhere now. Social media was already on fire. Musk barely acknowledged it. He turned back to the homeless man, who was still frozen in shock. The man swallowed hard, his voice barely a whisper. You really just did that? Musk shrugged. Seemed like the right thing to do. He knelt down, gently scratching the dog's ears. How's Buddy holding up? The homeless man exhaled shakily. I think he's okay. He looked down at his trembling companion. Just scared. Musk nodded, pulling out his phone. You're not staying out here tonight. The man blinked. What? Musk tapped into his contacts. I'm getting you and Buddy a place to stay. A warm bed. Food. Maybe something long-term. Tears welled up in the man's eyes. You don't have to. Musk looked at him. I know. A small smirk. But I just decked a guy over you too. May as well finish the job. The homeless man let out a choked laugh. For the first time in a long time, he didn't feel invisible. And Elon Musk? He was just getting started. The street had calmed. The crowd was thinning, though some still lingered, whispering about what had just happened. A few held their phones tight, their screens glowing with live recordings of Elon Musk taking down a biker in the middle of Los Angeles. But Musk wasn't thinking about them. His mind was locked onto one thing, the homeless man and his dog. He looked down at his phone, rapidly typing out a message. The city around him buzzed, but his focus was unshaken. Within seconds, a call connected. Yeah, it's me, Musk said. His voice was calm, businesslike, but there was an edge of urgency. I need a location. Secure, clean, dog-friendly. The man on the other end didn't hesitate. How soon? Now. Musk ended the call, slipping his phone back into his pocket. He turned to the homeless man, whose eyes were wide with disbelief. You have a place to stay tonight, Musk said. The homeless man swallowed hard, clutching his small dog closer. I don't understand. You don't have to. I know, Musk cut in, his voice softer now. But I want to. The man blinked, his throat bobbing as he fought back emotion. People don't just do things like this. Musk's lips twitched into the ghost of a smirk. They should. Before another word could be exchanged, a sharp voice cut through the air. Hey pal, I think we got unfinished business. Musk turned slowly, his expression unreadable. The biker had returned. Only this time, he wasn't alone. Emerging from the alleyway were 3 other bikers, dressed just like him. Leather jackets, thick boots, tattoos running up their arms. The leader, the one Musk had punched, stood at the front, wiping his still bloodied lip with a smirk. Musk remained still, unbothered. The homeless man flinched, his grip tightening around his dog. You should go, he whispered. Musk ignored him. He took a slow step forward, hands in his jacket pockets. His voice didn't rise. It didn't need to. You had enough? Musk asked. The lead biker chuckled, shaking his head. Oh, I don't think so. See, you embarrassed me back there. His fingers flexed. And I don't like being embarrassed. One of the other bikers, a shorter, stockier guy with a shaved head, grinned. Damn, man. You let Elon Musk knock you out? You know that video's gonna be everywhere? The lead biker's nostrils flared. Shut up. Musk raised an eyebrow. So this is about your ego? He glanced at the other men. You brought backup. That tells me everything I need to know. The biker's grin faded. What's that? That you don't actually want to fight, Musk said simply. You just want to act like you do. For a moment, the biker just stared. His jaw twitched. And then, without warning, he lunged. Musk dodged the first swing effortlessly, stepping sideways as the biker's fist cut through empty air. Before the man could recover, Musk's elbow slammed into his ribs, sending him stumbling backward with a grunt of pain. The second biker came next, a broad-shouldered man with a thick beard. He swung fast, but Musk was faster. He ducked, pivoted, and drove a sharp knee into the guy's gut, knocking the air out of his lungs. The third man hesitated for half a second, And that was his mistake. Musk turned, grabbed him by the front of his jacket, and twisted, using the man's own weight against him. He crashed onto the pavement, groaning. In less than 10 seconds, 3 men were down. The lead biker, still clutching his ribs, stared in disbelief. The crowd had returned, bigger than before. People gasped, some clapping, others shouting in disbelief. A woman's voice rang out, "Holy crap! Is Elon Musk secretly Batman?" Musk crouched beside the lead biker, who was now breathing heavily, his face a mix of pain and humiliation. "Walk away," Musk said, voice low, deadly calm. The biker spat onto the pavement. "You don't get it. You think this is over?" Musk tilted his head. "I think you don't know who you just messed with." A pause. Then, a vibration. The biker looked confused as his phone buzzed in his pocket. Slowly, he pulled it out and glanced at the screen. His face went pale. His friends' phones buzzed too. They looked down, and then, pure fear. Musk stood up, dusting off his jacket. "See, the thing about being me," he said casually, "is that I don't just win fights. I win wars." The bikers all stiffened. Musk gave them a knowing look. "Check your bank accounts." The lead biker hesitated, then tapped his screen. His hands began to shake. You shut down my card?" Musk smiled. "I shut down your life." The bikers frantically tapped their phones, realization dawning on their faces. Their accounts, their jobs, their personal records. Everything had been flagged, frozen, locked. One of them looked up, horror-struck. You can't do that." Musk smirked. "I already did." The lead biker's breath shuddered. His hands balled into fists, but this time, there was no fight left in him. "Walk away," Musk repeated. They did. As the bikers disappeared into the night, Musk turned back to the homeless man. "Let's go," he said simply. The man blinked. "Where?" Musk gave a small shrug. "New beginning." A sleek, black Tesla rolled up to the curb. The driver stepped out, opening the door. The homeless man hesitated, looking at Musk. "Why me?" Musk looked at him. "Because today, I could." The man swallowed. Then, without another word, he stepped inside. His dog curled up beside him, resting its head on his lap. Musk walked around, opening the other door. But before getting in, he glanced back, at the street, at the city, at the place where everything had changed. Then he smirked. The door shut, the car pulled away, and just like that, Elon Musk was gone. Within minutes, the videos flooded the internet. The Tesla cut through the quiet Los Angeles streets, the glow of city lights reflecting off its sleek, black surface. Inside, Musk sat in silence, one hand resting on the wheel, the other casually flicking through messages on his phone. The world was already reacting. Videos of the fight had flooded social media, his name trending worldwide. But that wasn't what caught his attention. A notification blinked across his screen. Unusual activity detected. Possible retaliation incoming. Musk exhaled through his nose, his fingers tightening slightly on the wheel. Of course they weren't done. His instincts had been right. The biker wasn't the kind of man to take humiliation and walk away. There was always one last desperate move. The only question was, how far was he willing to go? Musk made a call. The voice on the other end picked up immediately. "They're moving?" "Looks like it," Musk said. His voice was calm, but there was a sharpness beneath it. "Let's be ready." The response was simple. "Already on it." Musk smirked and hung up. It was time to end this. The message had been clear. Actions have consequences. Now, he would make sure they learned that lesson for good. A half hour later, Musk was parked in a dimly lit alley, a few blocks from the biker's usual hideout. His Tesla idled quietly, the hum of its engine barely audible over the distant sounds of the city. He wasn't alone. A second car had arrived, a black SUV with tinted windows. The driver stepped out, followed by 2 men in sharp suits, their presence cold and deliberate. They weren't bodyguards. They weren't hitmen. They were problem solvers. Musk didn't acknowledge them immediately. He was watching something. Down the street, at a rundown bar with flickering neon lights, The biker and his crew were gathered, talking in hushed voices, their body language tense. The lead biker, his bruised face still swollen from their last encounter, was pacing. Frustrated, angry, desperate. Musk could read them like a chessboard. They weren't planning an attack. They were scrambling, trying to salvage their pride, trying to figure out how to get back at him without getting crushed even further. It was almost pathetic. Musk turned to the two men beside him. "You know what to do." They nodded and walked toward the bar. Inside the bar, the atmosphere was thick with tension. The lead biker sat at a sticky wooden table, nursing a whiskey he could barely taste. His crew had gone quiet. They all felt it, the shift, the weight of what had happened. Musk had humiliated them, and then he had destroyed them. He had taken their money, their leverage, their ability to function, and now they were ghosts in their own city. One of his men slammed a fist on the table. "We can't let him get away with this." The biker's jaw clenched. "You think I don't know that?" Then the bar door swung open. Two men in dark suits stepped inside. They didn't look around, didn't hesitate. They walked straight to the biker's table and sat down. The bartender saw them but didn't react. He knew better. The lead biker tensed. "Who the hell are you?" One of the men, a tall, broad-shouldered guy with icy blue eyes, leaned forward, resting his hands flat on the table. His voice was low, smooth, and completely devoid of emotion. "You had your chance to walk away," he said. The biker's throat went dry. The second man slid a phone onto the table and pressed play. A video began to play, a live security feed of the biker's apartment. Inside, men in suits were already there, packing up his belongings, wiping his existence clean. The biker shot up from his seat. "What the hell?" The first man didn't even blink. "You don't understand who you're dealing with." The biker's heart pounded. His crew looked at one another, uncertainty creeping into their faces. The man with the icy blue eyes leaned in further, his voice dropping to something even quieter. "Elon Musk doesn't just fight in the streets. He fights in ways you'll never see coming." The biker swallowed hard. The second man spoke now, his tone eerily casual. "Your debts? We bought them." The biker froze. "Your credit? Destroyed." His breathing hitched. "Your businesses? Shutting down as we speak." His fingers trembled. The first man finally smiled, but there was no kindness in it. "So, let me ask you one last time." He leaned back, stretching his arms slightly. "You really want to keep playing this game?" The biker didn't answer. He couldn't. His mouth had gone dry. His whole body felt like it had locked up, because in that moment, he realized something terrifying. He had already lost. There was no fight left to fight. He had picked a battle with someone who wasn't just a man. He was a force that didn't just destroy you physically, but wiped you off the board completely, a force that could erase you. He licked his lips, looking at his crew, but they weren't meeting his gaze. They already knew it was over. He lowered his head, defeated. The man with icy blue eyes slid a napkin across the table. "Write down the name of another city." The biker looked up. "You leave town. You start over. And you don't cross him again." The biker's hands shook as he picked up the pen. He scribbled something down. The men in suits stood. "Good choice," one of them murmured. Then they walked out, disappearing into the night. Hours later, Musk stood on a rooftop overlooking the city, his phone buzzing in his pocket. A message. "They're gone." He let out a slow breath, staring at the skyline. Then, another message. A photo. The homeless man, sitting in his new apartment, Buddy curled up beside him, both of them safe, warm, and happy. Musk stared at it for a long moment. Then, finally, he smirked. He slipped his phone back into his pocket, turned, and walked toward the stairs. Because this city wasn't perfect. But tonight, he had made it just a little bit better. And Elon Musk wasn't done yet.